Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video here. So we actually do have some pretty big breaking news here, and yeah, I mean, we have our first look here at The Walking Dead Dead City. This is actually really early to be getting a first look like this, but it really depends on how they want to, I guess, market this thing, right? Because like with The Walking Dead Dead City, it's one of the shows where it's like, I mean, it was announced last like what, March or April or whatever, right? So which basically confirms Maggie and Negan's survival, which all of us kind of assumed that they would survive. And that's the thing that I would say, a lot of people did sort of criticize the move, but like everyone for the most part figured that they were going to live because there was always talk about these spin-offs or things that they could do in the future. So announcing it didn't really change it that much. Personally, for me, like, I didn't really change it that much. But that's just me. Obviously, some people do feel differently about it. But anyways, we did get our first look today, so I do want to break it down. So obviously, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get more Walking Dead content like this. The show is returning in 3 days, just 3 days. Like, we're so close to the premiere here. It's crazy. Honestly, I'm kind of behind on some of the days. Like, I thought today was going to be Wednesday, not Thursday. So the fact that it's Thursday, I mean, man, the weekend's tomorrow. Yeah, The Walking Dead's here. Like, honestly, this new episode, or I guess we're getting 2 episodes this weekend. That's what's crazy about it. We're getting 17 and 18, and they're supposed to be an epic death. So, or not an epic death, but a shocking death that's going to throw comic book readers off or whatever. So I'm really interested in seeing what that's going to be and all that. So yeah, if you want to get my review, my trailer breakdowns and stuff like that for episode 19 afterwards, then definitely make sure to be a subscriber. Now, like I said, we did get our first look here at Dead City, and this actually comes from Julian Cannon on Twitter. I will leave a link down below to the tweet and stuff where he did post this. But yeah, really, honestly, the first thing I thought when I saw this was, okay, this show definitely looks a little different, but I like it. I really do like the tone of it. The first shot we have here is of Maggie, and it looks like she's in some sort of building. It could be a bar because there's like what, flags in the back there. There's like sports flags, I believe. You do have some pictures in the back hanging on the wall. I guess that's, yeah, as a baseball player and stuff. To me personally, this really does feel like at this point, I mean, this has to be from episode 1, right? I believe from some stuff that people were taking, because a lot of people were on set. Like, that's the one thing Jeffrey Dean Morgan said. Like, with these spin-offs, it feels really nice because everyone is on set, or like fans are on set, or they're around, like there's hundreds of people around sort of taking photos and watching them. So that right there, I kind of find cool because like that's obviously something that they haven't experienced in a while. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan said that, like, he hasn't experienced that in a while, not since he first joined the show. So that's really cool. Like, I do really like that because that really does show the fan engagement, right? But in terms of an overall look here and the tone, I am a fan of it. I do actually really like it because like they want to be a little different than The Walking Dead. They want to do things a little differently. And I imagine some stuff, it's going to look a little different, but it's going to feel the same. You know what I mean? Like the Rick and Michonne series, I imagine that series is going to look exactly like The Walking Dead. I don't really know if they want to change it too much because, you know, people are looking forward to Rick Grimes' return, Michonne Grimes' return. To change it up a little bit, I think would, you know, where it feels a little off, I think could sort of hurt the experience, but it depends because they could do something like this where it actually does sort of feel right? A lot of this in here, like the tone in here, is due to the lighting as well. Like they're inside a bar, so you're going to get that bar setting, right? So it's going to feel a little different, but if you just more look at the lighter part, so like the shot of Maggie here, if you're actually looking at the right side of the screen here and you can see that natural light coming in, like that's really what the show's mostly going to look like, I would imagine, because they're obviously going to be outdoors quite a bit. So, but overall, you know, in terms of the camera lenses used and stuff, obviously I don't know any of that, but it does look a little different, and I do really like it, and I like Maggie's new look here. You know, I do have some questions on, you know, how she got that outfit. She obviously did cut her hair because her hair is much longer right now on the show. So I do wonder, you know, what actually happens at the end of The Walking Dead, because it kind of feels like maybe the show ends. I've always been under the impression that the show was just going to end with the characters just like walking away kind of thing, right? Like the characters that are getting the spinoffs, maybe they end the story in a really great way, but some characters are just going to be like walking away, having to go and do this or whatever. But I actually do wonder if there is going to be a bit of a time jump of just like a couple months. Again, they don't really have to do too much, because if it ends peacefully, which I do think The Walking Dead's going to end with some sort of a peaceful element to it, because it just makes sense, right? Why end The Walking Dead on a tragic note when there's just so, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're going to end it more on a peaceful note. It's probably going to be more bittersweet than anything, because I think we're going to get some bigger character deaths, but it's definitely going to be a more bittersweet. And I just think that's honestly the best way you can end it. And so at some point, I'm guessing things will be a little bit more peaceful at the Commonwealth. Maggie most likely just goes and gets a haircut or something like that. And then obviously she has a different outfit and whatnot. She just puts that on. And then there's a reason why they go to New York. But we'll talk about the plot and the story in a second. Let's actually go to the next shot here of Negan. And yeah, I apologize. Like the images that were uploaded onto Twitter, just are really, really bad quality. Everything here looks fine, but Negan is sort of in motion. I'm guessing in the actual shot, you do see him sort of, I guess, walk into the bar here. The expression on his face, though, he seems a little concerned about what's going on in here. If you actually go to the previous shot, Maggie does seem kind of concerned as well. So there's something going on here. I don't know, maybe they're both fighting, right? But I think they're probably dealing with something that's happening in the bar here. Maybe Maggie gets into a fight, and then so Negan walks in and he's just like, what the hell's going on here or whatever. So he has to sort of react, right? But you can tell he's coming into the bar here as well. I mean, there could also just be like zombies and stuff, or sorry, walkers, right? So yeah, I think these two shots are really incredible. I really do like the tone that they captured here. I'm a huge fan of it. It kind of reminds me a little bit, I will say, of it's a mix between Tales of the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, like current Walking Dead stuff. I'm not saying like older Walking Dead, like, because Tales of the Walking Dead, you could say whatever you want about it. The show looked amazing visually because it felt very cinematic. Like, you can hate on the show all you want, but if you just look at the show visually, it looked stunning. It looked absolutely incredible. The story in some episodes obviously needed a lot of work, but I think just visually, with the cameras and the fact that they shot digitally and everything looked absolutely amazing. And I know there's some people who debate that as well, who miss The Walking Dead's old, like, film grain look. And yeah, I understand that. I do, like, that makes sense. But what I will say is, The Walking Dead is competing with so many shows right now that don't film like that anymore, right? Like, The Last of Us will be coming out next year. So The Walking Dead Dead City and stuff will be competing with The Last of Us, right? In terms of like apocalyptic content, right? And that show looks absolutely stunning. If you guys saw the trailer, I did a trailer breakdown section on the channel, but it looks so incredible. And so I think it makes sense. Also, shooting digitally just makes it easier because, certain people don't have to be on set for certain moments. Right. I just think it makes a lot of sense. Now, I think they could go back to filming with film at some point. Maybe for the Andrew Lincoln series, that's their plan, is to actually do that with that series. It really depends because, I really do feel like they want to give it more of a cinematic feel, right? Like a more of a polished look. And I just think that shooting digitally just makes it so much easier. I really do think that in terms of filming it and stuff, you don't have to worry about everything with editing and stuff like that. It just makes it so simple to edit. So I do like it. And honestly, The Walking Dead had that look, but I see a lot of people complaining about it when they go watch older seasons. They always say, holy shit, like the quality back then was just so bad. So to me, I think this is fine. I'm really excited to see where this is actually going to go in terms of the overall look, because obviously we're seeing lighting here just indoors. So yeah, it does look different, but it does also look the same, and I think they have a right balance right here. So I'm definitely excited for Walking Dead Dead City. I can't wait to get a new teaser. It seems like we're going to be getting a teaser at some point soon. It's just, again, the debate is going to be, well, like, when are you going to drop the teaser before The Walking Dead ends? Because that kind of seems a little crazy. So I think they should hold on to the teaser until The Walking Dead is over, which is like in a little under 2 months from now, right? I think they should hold it until then. And then, because I'm expecting the release date for the show to be like the end of February. Honestly, like if you're looking at next year in terms of, where they're going to space out all of their content, because they have Fear the Walking Dead Season 8 as well, right? So there's that. Tales of the Walking Dead Season 2, if it does get renewed, I mean, it hasn't been renewed yet, so maybe that's not even happening next year. Although I believe the AMC boss did mention literally just a couple of weeks ago, like next year for 2023, we're going to have Tales of the Walking Dead and all this kind of stuff. So, I guess it could be renewed, but then again, plans could have changed. I don't know. Anyways, I do believe that this show is likely going to be dropping at the end of February, maybe early, it'll end in March or something like that, or end in early April. And then Fear the Walking Dead, I think, will pick up. But it's going to be weird to see how they balance all of it, because Fear the Walking Dead is going to have 16 episodes, right? So if you start Isle of the Dead in February and then you have Fear the Walking Dead going from, at the end of March until when, because usually they do a mid-season break. So it would be to like the end of May. You would have a little bit of a break there at the end of May until Comic-Con. Would you release the Daryl spinoff then? I think that's possible. But then I guess you would release the second half of Fear the Walking Dead, I'm assuming in the summer then, right? Starting in August, going up until, I guess, the Rick and Michonne series. I'm trying to think of how they're going to balance it out, because obviously they want to have, like, they usually do that with the shows that are like 16 episodes, right? At least with Fear the Walking Dead, they would usually have a show in between or whatever. That's something that we'll talk about for a while, obviously, because like I have no idea what 2023 is going to look like. We know there's a lot of content coming out, but like we have no idea what the release is going to be for anything. And I imagine, you know, we'll find out about Dead City pretty soon. But after that, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Fear the Walking Dead, I think we'll learn more about as well. But anyways, this is supposed to be an epic hate story, apparently. So it's interesting because like that's what Scott Gimple said. Obviously, they're sort of marketing this Rick and Michonne series as like this epic love story, right? Which I feel like is a little concerning, the fact that they keep saying that. Because I don't want this romance. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're family. They love each other. They're married. There's all of that. So I understand that part of it. Obviously, trying to find each other and whatnot. I do get it. So saying it's like this epic love story, I get it like that. And I do like that. It's just that I want to see the cool stuff. You know what I mean? That's what I've always liked about The Walking Dead. So I think constantly saying it's like this epic love story, I'm just like, is it this romance show now or something? You know, it's kind of a little worrisome, but I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's just the wording that they're using. And I mean, obviously the story here is about them finding each other finally after finding out that Rick was dead, right? I imagine when they do a season 2, because they're most likely going to be doing a season 2, it's not going to be so much focused on that. And it's going to be more focused on like trying to find their family and just other things like that, right? And so in terms of what the story is going to be like, and the reason why I brought that up about the Rick and Michonne show is because Scott Gimple said the exact opposite about this show, and that it's going to be an epic hate story. So that's a little funny because obviously people are always sort of thought like, how is that going to work? You know, having those two characters in a spinoff together when they hate each other. So it seems like it's actually going to be worked into the plot here. And to be honest, a lot of that stuff is quite a bit of fun, especially if Negan is the old Negan, which they're saying he's going to be. So I like that part about it, because the thing about, you know, the stuff in early season 11A is a lot of the Maggie versus Negan stuff was so much fun, except for the times when Negan would just sort of feel bad for Maggie and stuff like that. Because I'm like, well, I get it, I guess. Obviously, he's changed a little bit as a person, but like, that's why I like that scene at the end of episode 1 where Maggie's like holding on to the train, she needs help, and Negan just pauses and he's like, you know what? Screw this shit. If you just die here, all my problems are solved. And so he just like walks away. I love that because that's so in line with the character. And yeah, I want to see more of that here. So it looks like that's going to be a lot of what this show is going to be about here. But honestly, if I had to guess the plot, I mean, first of all, they're going to New York. Why? I do believe they're searching for Rick. But then again, I always say like, hey, so can they search for Rick? And Daryl searches for Rick as well? I feel like Daryl's going to be the one who's going for Rick. Maggie and Negan, because they're going to New York, I feel like they're going to find out more stuff about the Civic Republic, right? Because the Civic Republic, where are they located? In New York, right? So I think that's why they're going there. I think they're going to New York to try and learn some more information about the Civic Republic and whatnot. And then I think that, you know, they'll get super close, they'll deal with some stuff, they'll, you know, whatever, but then they're going to find people who have been living on the rooftops and whatnot, and sort of, you know, the premise of the show, which is, you know, this group, or because people have been living on rooftops and stuff since the beginning of the apocalypse, and there's millions to like 1 million to 2 million walkers or something in the city of Manhattan. And so I think that is just such an epic story. So I think, you know, they're going to have an original plan to go try to discover some stuff with the CRM, but then get entangled with this and then meet new people and then try to help them out. Because that's usually how it goes, right? Like there's going to be something like that. There's no way they're just going to be dealing with the CRM entirely. There's going to be some original plot here, because the Rick and Michonne show is going to be the one that sets up the CRM plot. Because as of now, we don't know what the CRM plot is, right? As of now, it's just sort of, we know they're there, but we don't know how they're going to really be involved with the main overall story here. And so the Rick and Michonne TV show is going to set that up. And then I think season 2 of all of the shows, you know, I think would probably further explore a little bit of that. And then maybe we'd see some more crossovers, or some more, I guess, crossovers with like Fear the Walking Dead if that show ends, you know, getting Dwight onto the Daryl show or something, or onto Dead City, getting Alicia because of that one exchange on Twitter or whatever between Alicia Denham Carey and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think having her on that show would be so good. So for a season 2, that'd be great. Also, the Daryl show is going to get Carol, right, at some point, which I'm guessing that's for season 2. So there's a lot of stuff they're able to do here. And then the Rick and Michonne TV show, I mean, obviously at some point you're going to have some characters go in there. It's just sort of a matter of just how do you deal with the things right now, right? So as of now, we're just sort of looking at the first season stuff, but I do think the first seasons of all these shows are sort of setting up the premise of this next phase of The Walking Dead, which is, you know, the CRM plot and stuff, and then sort of ending out that story, getting back home to Alexandria, and then the end kind of thing, right? So yeah, anyways, this show looks absolutely incredible. I'm definitely really excited for this. So definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.